Hello and welcome. My name is Ashley. Today's book review is going to be on Fumbled Hearts by Meagan Brandy. It's the beginning of her Tender Heart series and I believe a debut book, which was absolutely incredible. I chose to do a review of this book this week because last week I reviewed a book that involved high school students and quite frankly I didn't really enjoy it. I thought that some of the situations they were put in were not age appropriate and really intense, very graphic and difficult to read. So I wanted to do the opposite this week and pick a book that involved high school students again, but even though they go through a lot of drama and intense situations, they're more age appropriate, but at the same time keep it, obviously it's going to be a romance, and I just personally, this is more my speed and I wanted to share it with you guys. This book is about a girl named Kalani. Her nickname is Lolly, which I thought was adorable. And she goes through life-altering situation, which is losing her grandfather and both of her parents in the same day. She's at the hospital saying goodbye to her grandfather and finds out that her parents were in an accident and died literally while in the hospital saying goodbye to her grandfather. At that point, she quit high school, and when we start this book is when she has agreed to go back. She moves next door to her cousin and she's going to finish high school and try and start living her life again. At this point, I mean, how do you really cope with all of that happening? And so she's very mature, and it's really interesting to read her as a high school student because she lives alone and she obviously is taking care of herself. She's a very unique character. I really enjoyed reading her. One of the other situations that are going to come in this book, Lolly's mother had a twin sister, and that's her cousin's mother. So she has a really hard time with basically looking at her mother, but it's not her mother. Like, could you imagine hearing your mother's voice and your mother's dead? It's essentially being haunted. So through this book, she is going to have to come to terms with how she wants to have a relationship with her aunt, if she's going to, which, you know, I have my youngest siblings are identical twins. And so this book just really made me think of them and how I would feel if I lost one of them. So maybe that just meant a little more to me. You know, sometimes books just reach you in different ways. That was one thing that was very special to me, I guess. The romance part of this book is obviously going to be Kalani's story, and that is going to be her with this guy, Nate. Nate is the high school quarterback, and what's interesting about him is that it's almost like he undervalues himself. He thinks the only reason people would be interested in him is his body and being able to tell everybody else that they slept with him and that they wouldn't want to actually have a relationship with him. There was a moment at the beginning of Nate's story that I didn't really know if I was going to like him, quite frankly, because he's sleeping with everything that moves. There's this one woman who's like wrapped around him like a snake, and it's difficult to honestly just like him as a person. I was really concerned, but the truth is, as you continue reading, you start to understand that without that part of the book, I don't know that there would be validity to the way that Nate thinks about himself. By Meagan adding those women and their behavior to the story, it really shows that sometimes women really do use men. And I mean, obviously it can go the other way too, but in this book, I thought it was just an interesting angle. I enjoyed that. The other thing I have to mention is there's this guy, Parker, who really quickly becomes Kalani's best friend. I don't think the book would have been the same without him. I hope that the next book's about him. He was just incredibly well written, amazing guy. The way that Meagan set it up so that Kalani and Parker could be best friends, complete each other, absolutely love each other, but not have that attraction towards each other was just, I thought it was brilliant because I didn't feel like I was reading a love triangle. At the same time, I understood when Nate would get jealous of Parker, completely understood it. It was very well done. I really enjoyed that. The only issue I really had with this book, without giving away too many spoilers, is near the end, not the ending, but close to it. Kalani and Nate are not together at that point. Let's just say some things happened, so we don't give away too many spoilers. And at that point, I was a little frustrated because you find out that Kalani understands what happened. She knows why Nate misunderstood the situation, but she feels like he needs to come to terms with it on his own, and so she's just going to wait him out, I guess. I don't know if her intention was forever, but it was, I guess I would have preferred her not understand what happened and have confusion. There was just something about finding out that she was fully aware of the situation, and I guess just thought that she couldn't force her opinion on Nate. I could have just done without that part, although it doesn't change the situation or the outcome. So I guess that's just more the way that I felt about that little part of the book, not so much the storyline itself. Anyways, really great read. I cannot wait for Meagan to come out with more books. I cannot believe this was a debut book. Just absolutely incredible. If you like college romances, you're still going to really enjoy this, even though they're in high school, because Meagan wrote it so that Kalani was 18, and Nate does turn 18 pretty early in the book. So you're essentially dealing with freshman college students, not high school drama stuff. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. If you like this review, go ahead and like it. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave those down below. And if you want my videos every week, subscribe. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you again soon.